Hi, I'm going to tell you today about the Sensory Learners Pack, all about mud and how you can work through it. Okay, so lesson 1 is called Dig, Dig, Dig. You're going to need some dirt, compost or mud or something like that, and either a space outside or a big tray to use the dirt with. You're going to be concentrating on hand-eye coordination, motor skills, fine motor skills, things like gripping and squeezing, social skills because you're talking, and some key vocabulary, which today is mud, dirt and dig. So in the area of dirt, in the mud, bury some animals in there and have a go at digging with maybe some spades or spoons or different tongs from the kitchen if you're happy with that, and just picking out the different things that they can find, and you can name them to give them some more key vocabulary. Lesson 2 is called edible mud. So first of all, if you've got the ingredients to make the mud, make it together, and you can encourage the children to do some scooping and pouring, encouraging that hand-eye coordination again, and some math skills because you're using some measuring as well. So in the pack there's the ingredients list and the equipment that you're going to need to make the edible mud. And then when you've made it, you can put it out on a tray and you can use animals in the mud, and you can name the animals. So key vocabulary is going to be scoop, pour and animal names, and the learning opportunities are scooping and pouring, hand-eye coordination, motor skills, social skills, exploring that sensory awareness, and some math skills as well. Lesson 3 is called Mud Soup. You can choose, if your child really got on well with the edible mud, and if they do mouth it a lot, then it might be better to use that rather than the real stuff. Okay, and you're going to make some soup, so you need a big bucket or a big pot or an old saucepan or something like that. And you can collect things from outside, twigs and leaves and flowers and stones, or things from your kitchen. Could be lentils and rice, pasta, flour, bit of bread, anything really. The learning opportunities are about motor skills, so you're going to be doing mixing and pouring, social skills, working together, hand-eye coordination and encouraging their sensory awareness. The key vocabulary is going to be mix, food, eat, more and add. And as you're asking the child, do you want to put some leaves in, you can say, do you want more leaves or have you finished? Do you want more stones or have you finished? And using that Makaton to help support them, reinforce the key vocabulary will be really useful. Lesson 4 is called Pigs in the Mud, and you're going to need some mud and a tray and some farm animals. If you've got pigs, that's really, really good, and you can set up a muddy farm scene. And the learning opportunities are motor skills, mixing and pouring, social skills, hand-eye coordination and sensory awareness. And the key vocabulary is mix, food, eat, mud and pig. And play with the pigs in the mud. You might want to get paper, and after they've been in the mud you can make them trot on the paper and you'll see their footprints. But again, it's all about that interaction. Lesson 5 is called a muddy car wash, and you're going to clean some cars. So again, you need mud or compost or something like that, and a tray to put the mud in, and maybe a smaller tray inside, or a small bucket or a pot to put some warm soapy water in. And the idea is that the children play with the toys in the mud, get the cars dirty, and then wash them in the water, and then put them back in the mud and do it all over again. And they'll get a really good car wash then. So the learning opportunities are sensory awareness, fine motor skills, and moving the cars forwards and backwards and cleaning, life skills in that they're washing and they're drying, and the key vocabulary is clean or dirty. Okay. Lesson 6 is about mud painting. So you're going to make some mud by mixing soil and water, and make some mud paint, I should say, by mixing soil and water, and put a bit in a cup, and use different coloured paint to make the mud green, or to make the mud red, or to make the mud yellow, whatever you've got at home really. And then use some brushes to dip into the coloured mud and do some painting, do some mark making. You could be doing it on the ground if you want to do it on paper, if you're happy for them to do it on a wall. It's just experiencing that mark making. So the learning opportunities are hand-eye coordination, spreading the mud, mixing and pouring the paint, sensory awareness, fine motor skills, moving your paintbrush around paper or around the floor with the paint. And the key vocabulary are the colours, mud and paint. So the colours could be green, it could be red, it could be yellow, it could be orange, could be black. Okay. Lesson 7 is mud modelling. So what you're going to do is you're going to get some soil and add a bit of water to it to make it sort of like dough, really pliable. And then with that you can find things from your garden, seeds, stones, sticks to make a face, to make eyes and nose and mouth. You might want to make hair, whatever you want, you know, use your imagination. So your learning opportunities are exploring mud with your hands, hand-eye coordination, sensory awareness, social skills, motor skills, fine motor skills and gripping and holding. And the key vocabulary is mud, squeeze, mould, smooth and mark, push. Okay, lesson 8 is about making muddy handprints, and you're going to need some mud and some water and a surface. You could use cardboard, you could use paper, you could use the wall or the floor outside. So you're going to use your hands to mix up some soil and water and get really muddy, and then make sure that it's not too wet so that you can press your hands in to leave an imprint. So you can either press your hands in to the mud and leave your imprint in the mud, or press your hand in the mud and then press your muddy hand onto cardboard to show the imprint there. So the learning opportunities are hand-eye coordination, sensory awareness, social skills and motor skills. And the key vocabulary is mud, cold, mix, squash, feel and picture. Lesson 9 is about making muddy patterns. You're going to need some things that you've collected from outside, like leaves and twigs. In fact, leaves and twigs would be perfect. Have some mud in front of you and then make a pattern with the leaves and twigs. Now you might want to encourage your child to see if they can make repeating patterns like twig, leaf, twig, leaf, twig, leaf, or you can leave them to create their own pattern however they like. So the learning opportunities are hand-eye coordination, sensory awareness, social skills and numeracy skills in making patterns and pictures with shapes. And the key vocabulary is mud, squishy, slimy, pinecone, leaf, stick, pattern, stone and picture. And then the final one, I'm sorry about this, it's mud castles. So you need quite a lot of mud. You need a muddy area outside, definitely, and the children need to be wearing their wet, dirty clothes because they're going to get very muddy. Basically, if you have lots of pots, like old yoghurt pots and different shaped things, you're going to go outside and literally make mud sand castles and see if you can make towers and see how many they can count. Can they add more? Just get really, really muddy and have really great fun. So the learning opportunities are their motor skills, and especially their fine motor skills with gripping and transferring mud from one pot to another and stacking things on top of each other. Numeracy skills with their number names as you're counting how many sandcastles or mud castles they can make, different quantities and more stacking and building. Sensory awareness and hand-eye coordination. And the key vocabulary is mud, splat, fill, tip, turn over, tap, how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, have fun. Sorry it's so dirty, but it's going to be great. Thank you. Bye.